Good morning. Welcome to a brand new week. I can't believe it. This is the second last week of February, so we're officially halfway through with the month. How exciting. Let's quickly talk reading plans. The first book that I'm currently reading is one that I'm not particularly enjoying, I would say, and that's Adam Bede by George Eliot. Beyond the wordiness of the descriptions, which everything that Eliot decides to describe is like 3 paragraphs long, the dialogue is so awkward. I wish that she didn't write it that way, just because of how she writes everything else is quite jarring and it disorientates me quite a lot. Yesterday I tried to read it. I got like 30 pages in to the actual storyline. There's a lot more in the beginning, but I read like a really small amount of it and I just read it and I got a headache and then I napped for 2 hours. So I never nap. So it was quite an experience. I'm not the biggest fan of the book at the moment, so there's that. Another book that I want to try and get as far as I can in is Moringa by Ua Tim. This is my German book. If you don't know, I'm currently trying to decipher all the words and all the things in this book because like I do third year German, which regrets. No, I'm kidding, I love it. I'm gonna try and read about 2 chapters of this today, just because I really have to make some progress in this. I'm technically 70 pages in, but I missed quite a few things in the middle. I'm actually currently debating whether I should just read those or if I should just move on with life. And then I do want to start my personal books this week because I want to start The Wicked King by Holly Black. This isn't my copy, but I do, if I like it enough and I'm tempted enough to read The Queen of Nothing, I'm going to purchase The Wicked King. But I need to read this. It's not a long book at all. It is like just over 300 pages, so it's a manageable read. And then another thing I want to read this week is Corrupt Bodies, which is basically, it's a nonfiction. I don't read a lot of nonfictions just because I can get bored, but this I'm really interested in. It's about corruption and dodgy dealings in a famous London morgue, Scotland Yard. So I'm quite excited. I've read and I know a lot about Scotland Yard in the sense of that I've watched enough British shows set in like the late 1800s, and I've read quite a few books that mention Scotland Yard, and I'm quite intrigued. And I read this, and I read the synopsis, and I was like, I must request. So this is a requested book. I just quickly typed out my review for The Chosen by Taran Mataru. I actually did not like this book at all. Now that I'm like thinking about how I felt about it, it was just such a disappointment. I feel like what we were promised was not what we were delivered, and a lot of the time everything just felt overshadowed. And I mean, I have to admit there was a time when the main character Cade wasn't just a time, but there was like some small moments where Cade, the main character, made these choices which for me seemed really realistic, which grounded him as a character, but the rest were all overshadowed by the stock characters, and there wasn't enough individuality from the author put into these side characters, and I felt really weird they just disappeared quite early on. I wasn't overly impressed with that, but at least that is done. I've half edited last week's vlog, so I lie, I'm only on Tuesday, but I'm gonna edit everything and then it's gonna be over. It's gonna be too long, that much I can say, so I'm gonna have to like shorten it as much as I possibly can without compromising the quality, and then I will probably end up uploading it over the next couple of days. We'll see how it all goes. I'm home. You honestly would not think that I'm house sitting at the rate that I am at home all the time. Today just ended up working a lot different than what I thought it would. I'm very like upset with myself, but you know, you gotta move forward. I'm home now, so I might as well make the best of it. I'm just quickly gonna watch through my vlog, which is way too long, from last week, and see what I can do without, in the sense of what doesn't compromise the overallness of everything. I just wanted to let you also know that I have decided to DNF Adam Bede. I'm not going to do that in my exam. It's a choice. It is a difficult choice in the sense of, because you don't always know what's gonna come up, it's quite difficult to stop and say I'm not gonna study this text so that I can focus on other things, just because I don't think Adam Bede is for me. I'm not enjoying it and I'm really struggling with the reading. So what I'm gonna instead do is gonna focus a lot on Villette, because I think that is going to be a really strong like book and stuff, just because I don't know, it's Charlotte Bronte, it would be difficult for them not to choose it. But yeah, and then I also want to edit my 5-star predictions video, so that can go up over the next week or so. It's just like a lot of things. I've changed my English essay to something else, so I want to start researching that to see if it actually holds any, if it has anything to work with it. So in the sense of I'm trying to determine whether or not Olive Schreiner was in fact revolutionary, and with a close study of the story of an African farm, which basically I'm just going to be comparing what people have said about her, what she says about herself, and what we actually see in her texts. Victory is mine, and apparently Crazy Hair is mine too. Great news, I have managed to take my vlog from 30 minutes to 17 minutes. What a cut. I had to cut my darlings, kill them off, which was sad. It was devastating, if you will, but I'm happy. I'm currently exporting. I don't know if my battery will last that long. Hello, so I have just gotten back from Pan Macmillan presentation for the year, and I've got like a whole bunch of arcs. I'll discuss these a bit more when it's time for my February, because that's what month we're in, February book haul. You can kind of see what my haul is looking like so far. I'm about to head just home to drop off that stuff, but I'm about to head back to the house I'm house sitting, just because I do have to get back to do some stuff, like a nap. I could really go for a nap right now, but I just thought I'd quickly show you what I got, just like really quickly, because I want to talk a bit more about him when it's time for the haul. But I'm heading back. It's so hot and humid today because like there was like a hint of rain in the air, and now it's all gone. But I have to get home, I have to edit some stuff, upload some other things, make some other things public, so it's a process of a day. I am back at the house. I'm currently just going through my emails because I ran out of space and I need to upload some stuff onto Google Drive, but Google Drive isn't accepting the changes I've made. I do plan on starting The Wicked King finally today. I would ideally like to get at least like 50 pages in to it, just so I can make some progress, but I do want to start it so I can get going. Today has not been the absolute best day for me. I don't know, I feel really out of shape, I guess. It's just been a long day, and honestly I wouldn't mind going to bed early. We'll see what my brain and body want. I probably will eat and then decide. However, I have just finished editing my 5-star predictions video, so I'll leave that up in the info cards if it's available. I'm trying to get better about my content. So far I've already scheduled something for next week, a review for next week. I'm just trying to get a little bit better about these things, especially now that I'm ahead enough, like so far ahead with certain things like vlogs. I don't have to worry too much about certain things, but I definitely want to get better, like keep getting better at it. I'm looking at options such as finding a site that does co-posting for you. So like, for example, co-schedule posts and schedules these things, and they're quite efficient. I used their trial. I might just do it again with a different email, just to kind of see if it really is something that I'll utilize now that I want to get a little bit more into content stuff. I also just want to quickly update my like reading journal and all of that. When this will happen, I do not know. If you don't know, I'm also currently reading The Wicked King. I am a whopping like 8 or 9 pages into this right now, so we're impressed. Good morning. So today is Friday. It is currently, wow, it is 9:15 already. I'm quite surprised. I'm currently listening to my favorite playlist from Alex Rainbow music. They're absolutely incredible. I think if I can, I'll link it up in the cards above, because honestly it is such a nice like vibe. I really enjoy all of their relaxing Sunday playlists or relaxing Sunday mornings. I think they have two of those already. I just thought I would come on here and update you on what I'm currently doing. So I'm currently uploading my 5-star predictions, which I edited last night. I really like the vibe. I'm sad that I really stuffed up some of the synopses that I had in there, and I was just like, I'm not gonna say it. But what I am going to be doing is I'm going to be linking all of the books in the description. So if you're interested in finding out what the books are about, the best would be to look at the description. But yeah, I'm so happy. I just had a look at my stats. I usually don't like looking at stats just because I don't want to relate my life and the things that I do, like the book reviews, the YouTube videos, the Instagram posts, to the amount of likes and views and all of that stuff. But I'm trying really hard not to have that influence my life. Like if I'm happy with a post, then I want that to be enough for me. Today I have another post that needs to go up on my Instagram. I'm trying to post 3 times a week at least. Plans for today in terms of reading is to just read this. I'm not currently a fan of the writing. It's being a bit difficult, but I really do want to finish this today just so it can be done and dusted. And once I am done with The Wicked King, I want to start jumping into Corrupt Bodies because this is also for review. So this would be a great book to just like read in between. I think if I want to take a break from Wicked King, I'm just gonna read like a chapter from here. Hello, so it is a little bit later. It is almost 2 o'clock. It is currently raining, which honestly put me in a reading mood. But I do have a reading update for you, so I'm really excited to share how far I've gotten. It's not really far, but it's a start. That is what we're looking here. This is like, that is the big bonus. So I've read up until page 58 of The Wicked King. So far not a lot has happened. It's a lot like the first book where a lot seems to be happening, but in actual fact it's not that much. But we're only 50 pages in, so I'll give it a break. I also then just read a couple pages of Corrupt Bodies. I'm still in the first chapter. I'm not really far in. I really just started this, but I'm really excited today. I intend to read up until the end of chapter 7, which is about 70-ish pages in, so it's quite a distance. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep reading these 2 until I am done. So a quick little update for you all. I'm being smothered by love here, which I always appreciate. But I'm 152 pages into The Wicked King. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not hating it. I'm actually quite enjoying myself here. So I'm like just under halfway. And like I said, I really am enjoying it. I think it's very interesting. Things are finally picking up and getting exciting. That is the one critique I will constantly I'll constantly have with Holly Black's stories, is that they take too long to be set up. Especially when it comes to like second books in a series. It's the one thing I hated about The Cruel Prince, was that everything happened towards the end of the book. And after 100 pages, things are finally starting to pick up. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will argue with me that a lot happened in the beginning, but that is once again setup work, and that is such an annoying thing for me, especially when it comes to the second book. We already know things are happening. You gotta keep the ball rolling, especially after an ending like The Cruel Prince. So I'm really happy that things are picking up. I am enjoying it. If I were to rate it right now, I'll give it like a 3.75 to 4 stars. It's good. It's not amazing, it's good. And my friend Abby will 100% hate me for saying that, but I really am enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the way Jude is acting in this book in comparison to the first book. So far, from what I can remember from the first book, I really hated how whiny she was and how, oh, woe me, she acted half the time. In this one, she's actually fully taking on the character who she's supposed to be from the first book. She's strong, she's independent, she is scheming, she is like she's fun. I don't know, I like enjoy it. So I think that she's finally grown into her character a little bit more into this book. Obviously Holly Black's writing goes really quickly when you get past the interruptions of the really strange writing in odd places. So I think you should be proud of me. I've just finished The Wicked King by Holly Black. Honestly, I like this a lot more than what I expected I would. I honestly thought that I would hate this or like barely like this more than The Cruel Prince, and I actually found myself really enjoying it. I gave it 4 stars just because once again, a long setup, but I really liked the ending, except for the epilogue. I was like a bit unnecessary. I would have enjoyed it ending where it ended. So I really like the way this went. I honestly feel betrayed, but it was such a good sequel, I think, from coming from a book that I barely even gave 3 stars to a book that I'm giving 4 stars wholeheartedly. The series has made some strides. It definitely makes me excited to read The Queen of Nothing. And honestly, I'm just gonna say one thing: the title is appropriate. Honestly, appropriate. But I'm really happy that I got to read this. I'm probably just gonna be a little bit more relaxed now. But I will be reading Corrupt Bodies in a little bit. I just want to like take my mind off of this book for a little bit. Hi, hello. So today is Saturday. It is my second last day here. It's my last full day here. Tomorrow morning I'm leaving as early as I possibly can. Not in a bad way, but I'm really anxious to get home, to have that comfort back again. But I thought I'd quickly just pop in and update you on what is happening. So obviously yesterday I finished The Wicked King. As you saw, I really really enjoyed it. The more I think about it, the more I know I enjoyed it, but it's still not a full 5-star read at that point. It's not even 4.5, so I'm sticking to my 4-star rating. But since then I have started Corrupt Bodies. I read a little bit yesterday. I am now only on chapter 2, so I'm not actually far in at this moment. I am behind. I plan to read this over the course of 3 days, reading about 7 chapters a day. I did not manage that yesterday, but I do intend on reading as much as I can of this today. Today is also turning out to be a lot busier than what I thought it would be. Hi. I have not read past the 60 something pages I read this morning. But yeah, I haven't read anything further tomorrow. I have a lot to do here before I go home, but I do think I want to try being the key word here, to finish Corrupted Bodies. The pages that I read today were quite easy to read. I think that the writer does a fantastic job of setting up the scene. I'm just struggling right now to understand some of the significance. Like, we have some random cases and the timeline is a bit sketchy in the sense that he jumps backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, and it is kind of tangent like. It's just really jumpy. Good morning. So today is Sunday. It's the last day of this vlog. I'm currently just listening to Alex Rainbird. Honestly, they're just amazing. Hello. So I look a bit rough. There are some changes that are currently happening, which I'm really excited, but I don't want to show them because I want it to be a surprise for a friend of mine who is going to come and visit, and this friend is Abby. But there are a lot of changes currently happening in my flat, and I'm really excited for them. Over the course of the next day or two, I will be putting up my new shelves, so I'll be organizing that, so get excited. I'm really excited myself because everything will then have a space, and there'll be enough space for everything, which is what I want. And I can always, what's nice about these is I can move them, and I can get approximately four shelves out of this new set. I haven't done any reading, but I will be reading in a little bit.